Good day. I'd like to give you a brief introduction to our paper. Established businesses that are making and offering for sale physical goods like cars, washing machines, televisions, running shoes face an increasingly major decision whether to, and if so, how to, partner with digital platforms. Digital services platforms like Apple and Google in the West have much to offer to help advance the sale of physical goods and services. At the most basic, they can provide exceptional marketing and support reach, but they can also provide complementary services. A motor vehicle, for example, is increasingly just another place for consumers to access communications, media, and search services, and now AI services that are advancing at a remarkable rate. However, partnering with digital platforms like Apple and Google and Amazon will generally also raise competitive challenges. Apple CarPlay, for example, was established as an auxiliary screen in the car through which users could access music, messaging, and navigation. In 2024, however, CarPlay is becoming an integrated environment that surfaces and controls all car instrumentation. Not surprisingly, auto OEM manufacturers are often in a quandary about what to do. General Motors, for example, has judged the risk so great as to remove CarPlay integration from its EVs. Motor vehicles are obviously not the only industry where incumbents have to balance benefits and risks. Home automation, white goods, home heating, and air conditioning present other examples where digital services platforms present a risk to brand identity and to profits. The worry is that through the gathering and ownership of data and through the integration of services into an ecosystem owned by the platform, a Trojan horse has been admitted into the walls, resulting in disruption and ultimately, possibly the demise of the enterprise itself. This is a fraught and sometimes existential strategic decision. This paper tries to frame the decision to allow us to distinguish between those situations where competitive destruction is likely and those situations where it is not. Our framework shows that the consequence of collision between digital and physical industries depends on whether the digital platform is able, through various mechanisms, to use data to improve the user experience, or whether it's little more than a matchmaker, taking the friction out of the transaction, but not fundamentally changing the consumption experience. There are many circumstances where creating or allying with a digital platform improves the user experience. Thus, if one can add sensors and collect data from the interactions between provider and consumer, then better understanding of customer use can lead to better product design and better product performance. We can look at the history of GE and locomotives as an illustration. But in other cases, such as Airbnb, there's no such linkage. And the user experience beyond the transactional matchmaking itself isn't altered much, if at all. Access to and intelligent use of behavioral consumer data is thus the linchpin of our framework that distinguishes between circumstances where platforms can improve the user experience. So an alliance with a digital services platform may merely reduce transactional frictions, presenting little risk to the incumbent, or that alliance can power up innovation, much more valuable to the user, but potentially threatening to the physical goods provider, or presenting the greatest risk to the OEM. The alliance may abstract away the OEM's brand. The OEM simply becomes a commodity cog within the digital platform's ecosystem machine. All of these results are good for the consumer, but the second and the third can be problematic for the incumbent OEM. Another way of stating this is that when digital platforms not only facilitate transactions, but also help facilitate product innovation, then the full strength of dynamic competition can materialize. And incumbents that can't match this are exposed to what Schumpeter called creative destruction. An important implication of our analysis is that it need not be scale and network effects that drive competition, but rather the superordinary and dynamic capabilities that are turbocharged by the collection and intelligent use of customer data. Our framework attempts to provide a mechanism to identify risks and opportunities early. To return to CarPlay and the auto OEMs as an example, the trajectory of Apple's strategy has long been clear from its business model and its history. Adapting to that strategy in 2024 is going to be challenging. In our view, early identification and framing of these strategic issues and the dynamic capabilities that are necessary to succeed is critical. We present this paper as a contribution to that analysis.